What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boys over here at Three Man Weave. I'm your lovely co-host ZD in the building with CJ. We coming at you guys live, man. It's a Wednesday, February 18th. After All Star Weekend, had a pretty crazy weekend, to be honest with you. It was definitely exciting. It was full of great games. The format ended up being amazing, so we'll chop it up about that. And then we'll also talk about the midseason awards that we got. Obviously, these come out at the end of the year, but we did them at the beginning, in the middle, and then obviously we'll see who wins these awards. But we'll go into the most improved player conversation. But CJ, how you doing today, my brother? How you feeling?
I'm doing great, bro. You just said it. All Star Weekend just wrapped up, and we'll talk about it, but just feel like it was great. It was a good one. The game itself, the format, the world versus US, stars and stripes, is fantastic. So I'm feeling good, bro. Obviously haven't had any hoops to watch these past couple of days. Just ready for it to start back
Right?
up tomorrow. But I'm feeling good, man. It's a good day. I can't complain. And anytime we get to chop it up with each other, bro, about hoops, I love it. So feeling good, feeling great. Yes, sir. How are you doing today?
Man, I'm good, bro. After a pretty star-studded All-Star weekend, I'm feeling good. We've had a little break, so that's dope. But yeah, just ready to get back into it. I was telling you, just ready for the season to get along the lines, get into the playoffs, baby.
Mm-hmm.
We love talking about hoops. Obviously, playoffs is it's a special time. It may as well be Christmas for a month and a half, into June. We'll see who ends up being in the NBA Finals. But yeah, bro, I'm excited. Feeling pretty good today. Like we were chopping it up. We appreciate the love on our recent video as well. So
Yes.
thank you to all the viewers and listeners. Me and CJ, we were chopping it up about that before.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, man. I just wanted to tell you I'm proud of you, dog.
Appreciate it,
Showing you
Bubs.
some love.
Yeah, of
Very thankful that you are doing this with me. But yeah, I
course.
appreciate you, dog.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you too, man. We can't do it by myself, and the fact that we were able to, do this, multiple times a week and just stay consistent. I talked to you about it before we started. Just my wrist was messed up. You were saying that you're kind of having a pretty down day, but just the fact that
And
we're
hey,
able to show up and give you all the good energy, and the pod did well, so it just makes it even better for us. We were gonna do this anyways, but the fact that it got some traction, was able to get some views, it just we appreciate all the love, man, and just shows that showing up every day. I think that's the most important thing for me and UZ. So the fact that we're able to do that consistently, I think it goes to show we put in the work, and just being able to chop it up about hoops, bro. It's just what we love. So we're gonna do it regardless of how our day is or our circumstances. So appreciate everybody that tuned in for our last pod. We appreciate y'all, and
yes,
hopefully
sir.
y'all stick around for the rest of the season, because we it's gonna be a good one. Can't wait.
Yeah, man, and we had to shout y'all out, but let's get into it, man. Let's get into All Star Weekend. It's the
Yeah.
beautiful game. The situation begged for it. The new format asked for it. The best players on the planet delivered it, man. Therefore, this game became an All Star game for the ages. To be honest with you guys, it was full of rich performances and good, offensive twists and turns. Obviously, we had the Kawhi Leonard nutcase, whatever. He went stupid. We'll
Hmm.
talk about that a little bit later, but Wembanyama, bro. Want to start it off with that
Hmm.
because obviously from the opening tip of the first game, for people who don't know, we'll break down the format a little bit. I think it was three teams, right? CJ, it was
Hmm.
Team Stripes, Team Stars, Team World. They had them split pretty evenly. Yeah, they split them up, so they put country obviously versus the entire world, because the world was made up of different players from different countries, obviously the international players. But yeah, I think the first game the world played Team Stars. So
Hmm.
yeah, from the opening tip, bro, Wemby brought that energy. I think he had a steal and then immediately dunked it. Came down on the other end, blocked Jalen Duren and Kate Cunningham back to back. So that was pretty cool to see. But hey, Ant said it after that first game, but he set the tone. I want to talk about him for a second, but yeah, Wembanyama at this point in his career is clearly going to be the face of the league. There's been a lot of conversations about whether Ant is that, or even if a couple years ago if Ja was going to be that, right? But I think Wembanyama has taken the reins from those guys, and it's not to say that those dudes are superstars. Clearly, obviously, Ja's going through that thing. Anthony Edwards won the All Star Game MVP as a spoiler alert, so he's doing his own thing. But Wembanyama is just a whole different breed. You know, bringing the competitive edge to this game, this beautiful game that we know and love. And honestly, CJ and I have been dying for an All Star game like this because we just haven't seen a ton of effort over the last 2, 3, 4 years, however long you want to call it. But to see his effort from the jump, I think it was kind of funny because I think him and Anthony Edwards did like a little. They didn't he go for the tip, bro?
He went for
Like
the
they
tip.
they
Yep.
tipped off against Fiji. Yeah, bro. But anyways, Wemby got off to a quick start. Obviously, I think he had like 5 points. He hit a two as well, and then came down and hit a three. So he's
Mhm.
already shown what he can do. I think Ant started to get it going though in the second half of this game. I think he was really going. I think he was going at Wemby in terms of like his energy because he even said it. He set the tone. So I got to bring the energy. I don't want to get punked out here. But yeah, I think he hit a three with like less than 30 seconds left. That was I think sent it to overtime.
Mhm.
I think Scotty Barnes was the one who ended up hitting this game winner in the game, but the overtime rules were kind of weird. It was like the first of 5 points, so there wasn't a ton of time for players to do something. I think Ant had hit a layup, and then Scotty Barnes hit that three ball, so it only gave the world like one opportunity to score, which they did.
Mhm.
But then Scotty Barnes ended the game. I think that has to be talked about a little bit later. If I'm sure Adam Silver, and I was just talking to CJ about this, I'm sure the commissioner did not think we were going to have an All Star game that went into overtime. So I don't think the NBA was prepared for that. But I mean, hey, to get a Scotty Barnes game winning three in that first game, the intensity was great. Obviously, Kate Cunningham out there as well started showing out a little bit. But yeah, I think Anthony Edwards hit that game tying three, I think, with 14.3 seconds left. That's what sent it to overtime, and Scotty Barnes, set at home. But yeah, I think for me, just Wemby bringing the competitive edge just to set the tone for the rest of the All Star, like the rest of the night, basically. That was what I was watching at. I think I'm not a Wembanyama fan. Obviously, he plays for the Spurs. I'm a Lakers fan, so go Lakers. But Wemby showing up in this way for the NBA was big time. It was big time because it forced everybody to kind of play. And I was talking to CJ about this as well. I don't think Wembanyama is some god that we need to bow down to just to get us to play our beautiful game that we know and love. But if hey, that's what it takes, and so be it.
Mhm.
He's gonna lead that charge, and he's gonna be the guy to get us going. So hey, they followed his lead, and obviously I think Team Stars defeated Team World 35-37 in overtime, and that kind of set the tone off for game two, bro. Because I think a lot of guys are watching that behind the scenes, and they're like, all right, bro, this is go time now. It's go time. If we're really gonna play, if we're really gonna be out here, if we're really gonna be competing at a high level, I want to be a part of that. So yeah, I think it was exactly what we needed for the first game, and for I saw it was like also the most watched All Star game in the last. I don't know how much truth that there is to that, and there was like 8.8 million viewers, which is like the most that the NBA's had in recent memory. But I don't know how much truth there is to that. But if that's the case, hey, more power to y'all. Y'all saw what I saw. Great competitiveness. Players going at it left and right. You saw Ant Man at the end, like he was cooking as well. Yeah, CJ, I liked it. I
Yeah.
liked what I saw.
Yeah, no, bro. You said it. I think, Ant said it multiple times. I think he said it right after that game, when they were able to beat the world team, and then he said it when, you said it, spoiler alert, he ended up getting the Kobe Bryant trophy, the All-Star
Mhm.
game MVP. He said it, Wemby set the tone from the beginning, and I talked to you about it. We talked about it before we started recording as well. The fact that it's taken Wemby to get to this point is a little frustrating as fans and media and just enjoyers of basketball, and what we've seen the All-Star game, what it is, and in our past what it was. You know what I mean? Just the fact that these are you're the best players in the best league in the world, and the fact that it took 21-year-old Frenchman to actually have you compete, just it's questionable. But if that's what it takes, that's fine with me, because we were able to get super competitive games. And the fact that I think right off the tip he goes down to the block, gets a dunk, and that, I think from that point
Yeah,
on, like you said, you kind of reviewed the game. But it was incredible, bro. Just Ant, we knew Ant was going to show up because of his mentality, how he is as a player. But everyone else, Scotty hitting that three, and just everyone else kind of contributing. We said it, but also before we started recording, it is the All-Star game. Everyone is best players in the league, and when someone's on fire, you're going to give them the opportunity. So a lot of young players may not have gotten a lot of run, but just being able to showcase your talents, and we know that y'all are the greatest, but kind of putting that to the side and just giving it to the hot man for the night. And I think that's the beauty of
Yeah,
the game. Like everyone is going to be able to compete, and that's all we ask for as fans and media of the sport, just to compete at a high level, just competitive basketball, and the format of it as well, having the 12-minute period. I was kind of questionable at first, but didn't know if it was going to be enough time, but it seemed like to me it was enough time for everyone to get into the flow of game. Obviously a little bit of rust
right.
towards the beginning, but once they got acclimated to the game, everyone started getting warmed up. It was great, bro. Like you said, it's probably one of the best All-Star game that we've seen in a while. So the fact that just everyone was out there competing, that's all that we could ask for. And just a lot of these guys, this was their first time being an All-Star, so of course they're going to be out there, go out there, compete, and do what they can and showcase their talent. So yeah, no, you said it, bro. Wemby kind of is took over the show and kind of set the tone for the rest of the night. But yeah, no, it was incredible. And you said it as well. I don't think Adam Silver really thought that a game was going to go to overtime. So the fact that it was a first to five, I had asked you before we started as well, like, do you like that, or do you think they should have had a 5 minute like overtime period or whatever? I think it's something they didn't think that was probably going to happen. So the fact that it did happen, first game of this format of the night, and just
Right.
in general, I think it kind of, for future All-Star games, we'll probably take that in consideration. But up first to five, you don't really give the guys a lot of opportunities to kind of play defense, get their buckets and whatnot. But it was great, bro. Like I said, just the fact that the first game of the night went to overtime, I think it kind of set the tone for the whole night. And following into the next game, I think it kind of was able to see what it was.
Oh man.
Yeah, what the night
Yeah.
was we had in store for us.
I was about to say these two games are like, if you're a basketball fan, it was like pure basketball heaven. Seriously, as like I said, I think Scotty Barnes hit that three, right? And I don't know if we said it, we might have said it on another pod, but it was 12-minute quarters.
Hmm.
That's how they did these games. There's
Hmm.
four of them, so 48 total, right?
Hmm.
But each team only got 12 minutes to kind of showcase their skills. That's why the scores are so low.
Hmm.
But Scotty Barnes hitting that three in overtime, I think, yeah, bro, it was like, all right,
Yeah.
we here. Like I said it too. The players were watching that. The teams that hadn't played, I think it was what? Well, so sorry. The round robin tournament, it was round robin style. So
Hmm.
that means that Team Stars is going to play the next team,
Hmm.
which is Team Stripes.
Hmm.
So the two USA teams are going up in game two. We'll have CJ break that down, but that's how it works. So just to give you guys some context.
Right. So heading into game two, game number two was another thriller, capped off by De'Aaron Fox's buzzer beater three to give Team Stripes the edge over Team Stars 40-42. Team Stars wasted no time getting right back on the court after a thriller win of their own versus Team World. Um, Sorry. In the first 6 minutes, Team Stripes got three tray balls from LeBron, KD, and Kawhi to give them an early 9-13 score. Jaylen Brown also chipped in two, scoring four of Team Stripes' first 13 points. Just like the game before, the matchup came down to the wire as Team Stripes and Team Stars both crossed the 30-point mark with less than a minute left. Anthony Edwards looked to spoil a late run by Team Stripes as he went on a 5-0 run by himself, capping it off with a go-ahead three-pointer and a steal on Donovan Mitchell to put the Team Stars up 40-39 with only 12 seconds left. On the ensuing
Mm.
possession, LeBron James found Donovan Mitchell cutting to the cup. Mitchell then kicked it out to Fox, who pump faked Cade Cunningham, stepped back and hit a buzzer beater three to give them the Team Stripes the lead over Team Stars 40-42.
Oh,
Boom! boom, the
Yeah,
energy
I was
after
like,
this.
let's go.
Yeah, that was a big bucket. The energy after this shot in the arena was jaw dropping. Fans were jumping and players celebrating alike. Fox's game winning shot set the tone for an amazing rest of the All Star weekend. I think,
It was awesome.
it was amazing, bro. It was down, we said it down to the wire. LeBron finding Donovan Mitchell cutting and just kicking it out to the open man. Like we said it, bro. Just these are the greatest athletes in the world, and especially in the
Oh yeah,
NBA.
that's what
Just
made yeah.
just finding the open man. Just playing good basketball, and the fact that Swiper was able to hit that three, bro. Just cap that game off, and it was amazing. Especially after this Team Stars got that big win against the World to start it, just kind of just another thriller game. So, bro, it was amazing, bro. Just seeing just all the stars, star-studded event, and just was in awe the whole night, bro. Just seeing the league's best go at it. It's always a great feeling, and kind of what we've been talking about, what we've been saying this whole podcast to start it off, just competing, and I think that's what we got for this
Yeah.
next match, and it just kind of put it, since it's a round robin tournament, both USA teams going against each other. Now one team is 1-1 and the other team is 1-0 to go against, going into the next game, going against the world team. It was putting the team. I think it was also point differential. That's how you were able to advance
Yeah.
into the next. So all these games mattered. So the fact that it was all down to the wire pretty much the whole night, it was incredible, bro. Just the whole capped off that the final play of the match, or the play of the game. It was incredible, bro. Shout out to Donovan Mitchell for finding De'Aaron
I was
Fox.
gonna say that. Yeah, that hockey assist, boy.
Hmm.
That's like you explained it perfectly, CJ. They don't play with each other much. For you guys that don't know, I think they have one all-star practice. But the plays that they run are like floppy.
Hmm.
They run horns, like they run plays that CJ said it, but like they're universal to basketball players. And I think, like you said, Donovan Mitchell just had his head up, found De'Aaron Fox, who has been cooking this season. I think he was a replacement,
Hmm.
right? Like I don't think he was named an all-star per se, but let's give it up to him a little bit. I'm not a Spurs fan, but y'all have been cooking. De'Aaron Fox is awesome. Honestly, didn't think he was gonna hit that. I was
Hmm.
like, oh, like I don't know if Braun, but he
Right.
pump fake. He stepped it back. I was like, man, he
Hmm.
shot it. Now, man, it
Splash
dropped. And I was like,
cash.
okay. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Because now, that first game, I was like, all right. The second one, bro, I was like, now we're cooking with some grease.
Hmm.
Because, like CJ said it, you set me up. But in this next game, Team World, I think Wemby was watching, Norman Powell was watching. I think Ashley had an interview with Norman Powell. She was like, so you seeing this right now? You guys are down 0-1.
Hmm.
You know, both Team USA teams have got W. How does that make y'all feel? He's like, oh, we're not too pleased. Wemby had something to say. We're gonna go out here and prove what we got. So yeah, this is game three, the round robin tournament. Team Stripes versus Team World. Game three was the highest scoring game of the day. Okay, and the last closely competitive game. So that's a key caveat here. Kawhi Leonard absolutely stole the show in this game.
Man.
Uh, I think he scored 31 points, 11 of 13 shooting. He had a what? I think he had an 11-0 run by himself or 13-0 run by himself, if I'm not mistaken. He had the step back three on Pascal, came down, hit another tray ball.
Hmm.
Then he ended up getting a steal, a dunk, and then he hit that three over
Over.
Cat,
Hmm.
which if you guys haven't seen that, definitely go tap into that. Go tap into that highlight because it kind of just for let's talk about Kawhi for a second. I know I'm not a Clippers fan again. LA Lakers till I die. But let's give it up for Inglewood's finest to
Hmm.
be an Intuit Dome. Guys, for people who don't know, Kawhi Leonard was not named an All Star. Okay, he was another replacement, which is absolutely, I don't know. It's just egregious to say. For people who don't know what egregious means, it's horrible. It's disgusting. The fact that he wasn't named an NBA All Star this season for what he's done to me personally on record, said it to CJ before, but he would probably make my first team All NBA, even though the Clippers have not been good. Kawhi has been absolutely brilliant. He showed it here. Uh, I know you know this, but like for people who may not know that Kawhi Leonard was that, or who didn't know that he still had this in the tank. I think it was clear with this 13-0 run by himself, 13-0 run by himself, that he could still do it with the best of them. So we got to give it up for Inglewood's finest. I think this was, you said it, but it's probably second best quarter I've ever seen behind Klay Thompson. Again, go watch Klay Thompson, 37 points for Sacramento, no dribbles, best quarter ever, hands down. Kawhi Leonard in the All Star game doing this, probably the second best quarter I've ever seen a player have, truly.
Mm-hmm.
Just he had that mid range too over Pascal. Ooh, like he
Mm-hmm.
took him to the mid range.
Mm-hmm.
Like Kawhi was looking like Michael Jordan.
Yeah. He was looking
All
incredible,
right,
bro.
yeah, he was looking incredible, bro. So wanted to shout out that. Sorry, I trailed off from the outline read, but 15 straight points by himself. But we know Wemby let Team World go down easy, okay? Wemby was hooping.
Mm-hmm.
Wemby scored 19 points in this game. Obviously, I think he helped the world take the lead with a three-pointer late in the game, 41-40. By the way, guys, Team World after this point, I think, so we didn't say this, but Luka and Jokic both played in game one.
Mm-hmm.
They did not return. So Team World was missing Shea, Giannis, Luka, and Jokic. All right, so Wemby was doing this kind of on his own, so give him some slack. He did hit, like I said, he had a go-ahead three-pointer to make it 41-40. So it was a close game again. Wemby scored the last 5 points for Team World, and Leonard scored the last 4 points for obviously Team Stripes in the last final minute. Kawhi Leonard hit a go-ahead three-pointer to give Team Stripes the lead, 48-45, with less than 3.5 seconds left. Wemby actually had the last shot at the buzzer, but it hit the back iron and rimmed out. I told you, I saw it in his face. He's like, damn, bro, because now Team World is 0-2. They're unfortunately out of the round robin tournament. But to have game three go down to the wire like this again, 48-45, highest scoring game of the day. Kawhi Leonard, 31 points in into a dome. Adam Silver's probably, he just could not be more happy. Saw Steve Ballmer going crazy. It was
Mm-hmm.
just, honestly, it got me off my seat, bro. And I'll be real, bro. I didn't tell you this, CJ, but I was saving it for the pod. But it brought a tear to my eye, bro, because you just don't see basketball being played like that anymore. And I don't know why. Kawhi Leonard's performance brought a tear to my eye because I think Kawhi is also like the definition of resiliency. People forget he's been hurt a lot. He's actually hurt. And like, people say he's taking his time off, whatever, whatever. But I think for him to just have that type of performance in 2026, mind you, like he's no longer prime Kawhi, but still giving people the business. I think it was good, bro. It was good for the game of basketball, and it made me happy because I know a lot of kids were watching that just super inspired because they've probably heard stories and they've heard the legend of Kawhi Leonard. We all have, but to see it in front of your eyes is another thing, right? So, got to give credit to him. Obviously, give credit to Wemby. I know he lost. No, I'm not really a fan of you, but you obviously brought the juice, which kind of helped it, make it more fun. And yeah, I think we were set up nicely for a nice game four. At this point, Team Stripes was absolutely gassed, playing three straight games. This is their third straight game going into game four. But yeah, I'll let CJ take it away. But just game three was the best game of the night. So I'm blessed to even be the one who does that part of the outline because I think it was just a great part of the night for me because that was easily the best game. And seeing Kawhi play that way, bro, it's just you don't get to see it often like that. That Kawhi Leonard doesn't pop out much. You
Mm-hmm.
might see Anthony Edwards play well or Wemby play well or even LeBron, but Kawhi, it's just a myth
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah, no,
You really got to see it to believe it.
exactly. And I think it was that game specifically just he was heat checking that whole time, and the fact that he
Oh,
wasn't
bro,
missing, scoring 31 points. I think he ended up playing the whole game or that whole period as well. So 12
12
minute,
minutes.
and like you said, I think second to Klay Thompson's quarter, that was probably the greatest, second greatest performance I've seen in a quarter of basketball, and just seeing him being able to do it in his home court, just his hometown as well, just the fact that he
While they
wasn't
were
an all
partying.
star, he was a all star injury replacement. Just the whole situation, like you said, a lot of people, have haven't been able to witness Kawhi perform at this, or if you haven't been watching the season, kind of seeing what he's been doing this year alone, but just it was like a vintage Kawhi performance. Just seeing him hit every shot, getting a steal, dunking, and just that is the definition of what Kawhi is. So the fact that we were able to see that, bro, on the biggest stage and his hometown, home court, just it was perfect. Like you said, Steve Ballmer was in the crowd, of course. He was getting hyped. So the whole vibe of that was easily the best game of the night. Just seeing that performance, and then obviously it coming down to the player that had been performing all night, Wemby, having a good look. I mean, I feel like any shot that Wemby takes is really a good look, but just it rimming out just was a perfect way to kind of cap off that. Obviously, Team World getting eliminated. We get a rematch of the Stars versus Stripes, and Game 4 was the least competitive out of the four. Team Stars jumped out to an early 12-1 lead within the first 3 minutes as fatigue was settling in for Team Stripes down the stretch. Team Stars missed their first 8 field goals to start the game. No player on either team scored in double figures in this matchup. However, Team Stars shot 20 for 33 from the field, 61%, and went 6 for 15 from deep, 40%. To conclude the night, Anthony Edwards took home All-Star Game MVP honors for the first time in his career after his performance in his first 2 games for Team Stripes. 13 points in Game 1, go-ahead steal, and 3 in Game 2. Regardless of the outcome of this game, the previous games that were showcased on All-Star Weekend gave fans what they were dreaming of, a competitive but entertaining All-Star game. I think it was a perfect. Obviously this being the last game wasn't as competitive, but I think like you said, Team Stripes just playing 3 straight games. Obviously they're going to be gassed, but just what we were able to see leading up to this, all for three of the first 3 games were incredible, down to the wire. Obviously overtime game for the first one, down to the wire for the second, and then same for the third game. It was just incredible, bro. Obviously, didn't the championship game wasn't really as competitive, like I just said, to start this the segment of the recap, but just the fact that we even got to that point, I think it was well made up for. It's like the legacy performance for Kawhi in the previous game. Just I think they just didn't have enough gas in the tank to be able to finish this off. But I think it was a perfect way to kind of cap off the night and just see the best talent in the world compete. So shout out to Anthony Edwards getting his first All-Star Game MVP award, and kind of setting the tone for the rest of the year. So it was incredible, bro. All-Star weekend, the game was incredible, and just seeing everyone compete, that was my highlight of the weekend. Just high competitive just games, and just seeing everyone go out there and showcase their talents. Shout out to Kawhi, like his 31 points is ridiculous in a 12-minute period. So I think that was kind of my highlight of this All-Star game, bro. It was incredible.
Fair enough. I think I gotta go with Ant, bro. Just playing from the jump. I think he got it going as soon as Wemby turned it up, and just seeing his competitive fire was really cool. And also LeBron, showing out when it matters most. I think people forget he's old, he's chugging, he's trucking. I know a lot of people were saying they weren't going to go, yada, yada, yada. He's over here getting putbacks, playing defense. They're huffing and puffing. Like CJ said, it's a lot to play 3 straight games. And then on top of that, playing defense. I think that's what made Kawhi Leonard's performance so special, right? Is they weren't just sagging off, letting him hit these threes. Like he was, getting guarded. So I just appreciate it all around the board. And just like for the kids, I think we're adults, right? But for kids who want to be NBA players and they want to grow up and play basketball in some way, shape, or form, I think it just gives them a lot of hope and inspiration. And honestly, it's the least they can do with the hundreds of millions of dollars that they're getting, and rightfully so.
Mm-hmm.
But just the competitive spirit's got to be a part of that, and all those guys showed that, so I'm appreciative of it. And Anthony Edwards, baby, Minnesota Timberwolves fans, this is your time. I hear you. We'll see. We will see.
Mm-hmm.
We will see. That's what I have to say to that. We will see in the playoffs, right? We'll get into it a little bit later, but there's I don't know, like what the Timberwolves' path to the West is going to be interesting. We did our contender pretender a little while ago now, probably over 2 months ago. We might have to redo it, but um, yeah, if they can stay healthy, Julius Randle, Jay McDaniels, we'll
Mm-hmm.
see. But
Yeah.
yeah, bro, it was dope. It was a super good weekend. Obviously, the 3 point contest was like the point of Saturday night. Dunk contest wasn't that good. Jace Richardson busting his ass. Keyshawn Johnson, Jackson Hayes, bro. I
Mm.
gotta talk to you, bro.
Yeah. Let's hear it.
Like, bro, come on, bro. Like that's like grandma dunk. Like you did a tomahawk, bro. Like I seen you do an East Bay in game,
Mm-hmm.
bro. You know what I'm saying? So like that was weak as hell. Was not happy to be a Lakers fan with that. So Jackson Hayes, I'm on your case. Um, just yeah, Constantinople having it at 4 p.m. There's a couple losses this weekend, but I think the break, those games, kind of washes over you. And as a basketball fan, it's exactly what you wanted. You know, like we said it at the end, the outcome kind of it showcased exactly what we needed. It was competitive but entertaining, and I think that's the takeaway from this weekend, brother.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. To kind of like cap off All Star Weekend recap, I have a little trivia for you, sir. Obviously, you know we said it
Mm,
already. Ant was able to get his first All Star Game MVP. Could you tell me the last 10 All Star Game MVPs? No, no order. I'll tell you what year. Just if you could just say the name
okay,
and I'll let you know. Obviously, Anthony Edwards, 2026
yeah,
MVP.
Ant Man, um, Tatum, Giannis,
Tatum, yes, 23. Giannis, 21.
Russ,
No,
uh,
no Russ in the last 10.
in the last 10.
In the last 10, yeah. So it's from 17 to 26.
I guess he might have won in what 2015 or 2016.
I think it was
Maybe the
20.
year
I think he
before.
won back to back. So I think it was 15 and 16. No,
Yeah.
no repeat
Um.
winners in this time as well.
Yeah. There's no repeat. Yeah, that means that there's. I think he's the last one to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh. In the last 10
Oh, I'm
years.
sorry. I'm sorry. There is one repeat winner within this
There
time.
is
There is one. You haven't said him yet, though.
Anthony Davis winning.
Anthony Davis won 2017, so that's the first one.
Yeah, that's the one after. Okay, that's what I thought. Um.
Because I think you said
Yo,
AD. You said Curry.
Curry won.
Curry is the one that won twice. He won 25 and 22.
Hmm. JB hasn't won an All Star Game MVP.
He has not.
Um. Man, it's not like Durant or any of those guys besides Curry. Maybe Cat?
No cat.
No Cat. Hmm. Oh, it must have been Curry who won that year when he was going off.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, let's see. All Star Game MVP. I'm thinking in the mode, but I'll probably get it within this time frame. Huh. Kind of stumping me. I'm trying to think about it because Giannis was 21.
Mm-hmm.
Who was 22? Who won with me? It was Curry.
Yeah. Curry 22, 25. You said Giannis, and I think you said
I don't
AD.
know. It was 24. I guess Tatum won.
Tatum,
Tatum win. Sorry, I meant to say that.
2023.
23.
So I
Okay.
think you're missing 24,
24.
24, 2020, 2019, and 2018.
2020, 2019, and 2018.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a James Harden in there?
No.
He doesn't. Does he have any?
No, not in this frame, Illis. I don't think he has one actually.
Paul George?
Mm-mm.
I'm trying to think of who's like pop. Who gave me like 40s? This is like Who was giving me 40? Because Irving won, but that was before. I don't feel like LeBron has won in the last 10 years. It's man, not KD. Not KD either.
I don't know.
I don't know. Like he hasn't won in because 10 years is 2017.
Mm-hmm.
So 2018, 2019, those are like the Harden years, but and Russ years, but
Mm-hmm.
2020, it's never Jokic or Luka. I know that. It's not Shea. It's not Anthony Edwards, even though he just won. Kawhi?
Kawhi 2020.
Okay.
So you
Kawhi was
need
2020. That's
you
a
need
yeah, Kawhi
2019
definitely
and
won one.
2018. It's it's
Ooh,
uh it's pretty easy, I'd say.
yeah, I think so too. I'm trying to think about it because well, oh wait, Durant won one, but it wasn't in the last. Wait, okay, did Durant win one? Was it
Durant
2018?
Durant won in 2019.
Okay, okay, 2019.
So you just need 2018.
Who was after Russ, bro? My goodness, Cat was such a deep in the bag pull, but I remember he had like 40 something. It's got to be somebody who popped off, bro. 2018, you said?
2018.
Man, 2018. I was 17 at the time. My goodness. Um, who was just cooking? Like I know who was cooking, but okay. Um, dude, there's so many of these all stars too that are like they're not continuous all stars like the LaMarcus Aldridges. They'll pop up every once in a while or whoever. So I'm like, all right, let's disband that. It's got to be like the best of the best.
Mm-hmm.
They're not gonna win. Okay. Um, I've said Harden, I've said Giannis, I've said Durant, I've said Curry, I've said LeBron, I've said
Oh,
Kawhi.
look, it was LeBron if you said LeBron, sorry.
Wait, maybe I said it earlier
You said it.
because I was thinking
I think I
I
think you
said
said it
Bron.
it couldn't be LeBron.
Oh, I think I did too, bro. You're right. I definitely said I was like it couldn't be LeBron. I didn't say it could be.
Yeah, but it was LeBron. LeBron
Okay,
2018. So to cap it off, the last 10 from 26 to
okay.
17, 26 Anthony Edwards, 2025 Steph Curry, 24 Dame, 23 Tatum, 22 Steph, 21 Giannis, 20 Kawhi, 19 KD, 18 LeBron, and 17 Anthony Davis.
Bro, I didn't get Dame.
Oh, you didn't get Dame?
I didn't get Dame.
Whoops.
But I don't think I would have got Dame. So that's another one. Because
Right.
I forgot he had that crazy
Yeah, he
game.
had a
Because I was trying to think about like who had like 50.
yeah. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he
Because
probably
they were
had.
still doing full games.
At that point.
God,
Yeah.
that was a good one though, CJ.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one because I'm really not paying attention to the All Star Game MVPs.
Right.
I feel like MVPs would be a little easier maybe,
Hmm.
but because we'll have to do that too. We'll do it another time.
Oh yeah.
But there's repeat winners or there's like only certain people that you know.
Right.
Jokic had 3 in the last 10 years, which
Hmm.
takes out a whole third
Hmm.
list. So and like Shea, obviously.
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah. It's interesting because, like you said, don't really like pay or we pay attention, obviously, but kind of forget some of those performances in the All Star game to kind of get
Right.
that
Like I'm
reward.
trying to
So
think about it. Yeah, I'm like, man, I know Kawhi was cooking. Obviously, Lillard was cooking. That what Curry was cooking. Curry usually hits 11, 16. I think he had 16 threes
Mm-hmm.
in one of these things.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like kind of tough to give the MVP to anybody else when they hit 16 threes.
Right. Right. But yeah, just that was to cap off All-Star weekend. So you know, like we said, just it
Yeah,
was
we're
an incredible
done with that.
game. Just it was great to see. Just competitive basketball, down to the wire, pretty much majority of these matches. So, like you said, Adam Silver probably was enjoying every bit of it that we were able
Oh,
to
he was jumping
experience
for
this.
joy. Jumping for joy.
Mm-hmm.
That boy was that boy was jumping for joy, dude. He's like, yeah,
Yeah.
let's go at me.
Mm-hmm. Yup.
Thanks to the league.
Yeah.
Hey, but let's get into this most improved player conversation, my man. Um, we won't do this Mount Rushmore style and start from the number one spot. So sorry guys, no spoiler alerts here. You're gonna have to wait the 20 minutes or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But this award is not clear, CJ. We spoke about it for a second, but before we get into it, there's really no criteria on what the most improved player award means,
Mm-hmm.
uh, which means it's really up to the discretion of the voters and the coaches and whoever think is the most improved. Whatever that means to you, I would assume is the real definition. I don't really have a better case for you. I wish I did. But we do have some players here that are clearly improving from previous seasons and most likely will be the top three candidates that we have. So we'll give our best guess, our three-man weaves best guess, and try to give you guys our top three. So CJ, why don't you take it away? You can do these two, and I'll give you number one because
Bet.
he's on your dynasty.
So at number 3, we have Keontae George. George has quietly and calmly become a surefire and reliable scorer for the Jazz. George is averaging 23.8 points a night, 3.9 rebounds per game, and 6.5 assists per game, shooting 45% from the field and 37.5% from three. What makes George stand out is his offensive leap from last year, where he averaged just 16.8 points per game on 39% shooting. George has worked extremely hard to become more efficient volume scorer, and it wasn't for the Jazz. And if it wasn't for the Jazz being so bad, 18 and 38, he may be much higher on this list. I think it was just an incredible leap for him this year. I think, last year, he might have been the worst rated player, I think, like
Yeah,
statistically. So the leap that he's taken,
the minimum attempts. Yeah,
right, minimum attempts. So, and it's funny enough, I watched like a off-season video of him. I think it was just a creator on YouTube kind of followed him, and I think he graded. I don't know if he does it like a series, but he followed him and he kind of rated his workout, his work ethic and just his recovery and all that. And
that's
he
cool.
was pretty much saying that Keontae George is going to be one of the next ones up, and the fact that he has taken this leap on the Jazz just kind of goes to show the work he's put in and the type of player he is. Obviously being on the Jazz, it's you kind of get into the a loser mentality, quote unquote. But what he's been able to do in this past season or this year specifically, just an incredible leap for him. And obviously, we just said it. If the Jazz record wise weren't as bad, he would be a lot higher. But his leap this year has been incredible, and just seeing what he has become, just he's a volume scorer and he's doing it more efficient from the 2 point and 3 point arc. So seeing his progression and just what
Yeah,
he's able to become this season has been incredible. So number 3, Keontae George for sure.
no doubt. I don't, you know, it's interesting because I think Keontae George, like the timeline for him was what, like they're expecting him to be a guard straight out of Baylor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just super flashy. He's pretty athletic as well. Kind of has underrated bounce. Definitely can dunk on you. But like CJ said, he's become a more efficient volume scorer. I think he was always a volume scorer. But the efficiency, like you said, I think he was last place in field goal percentage last year. I think minimum 500 attempts. That's what it is. So shooting 39% from the two,
Mm-hmm.
from the two.
From the two.
Like we can't, right? Like that's a grab hold of you. Like okay, CJ said it too. The Jazz are 18 and 38. Okay, but Keontae George is awesome, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like he cooked the Lakers. He's cooked us twice for 30. I
Mm-hmm.
know he's giving you all some trouble as well,
Of
but
course.
super athletic guard, super wiggly, has a tight handle. I would say a top 10 handle in the NBA if you watch it. Just for me, it's the assists.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually the assists. I don't even think it's the scoring.
Right.
But to see the 7 assists,
Yeah.
that's a yay for me. Jared Jackson Jr., Ray, Lowry Markkinen, Jazz. CJ said it too last pod or a couple pods ago, but the Jazz are awesome. Like you guys have waited a long time to have these types of players on your team who can actually do something,
Mm-hmm.
like who can get 40 or give me like one of those games where I'm like, all right, Keontae George has done that all year, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't even know if he was really. If we put him on this list at the beginning of the year, we'll have to roll back the clock. But he's on the radar now, and like CJ said, he'd probably be higher if the Jazz weren't so bad. He may not win, Jazz fans, just because you guys are tanking and you got fined for that. Adam Silver knows that. He's not going to reward losing. But next year, you know, there's potential for him to be in that conversation again, especially if the assist department continues to increase. I think the scoring will level out. I'm sure he could score 27 in a season if he really wants to. But with Jaren Jackson Jr. there, it'll be hard for him to get those touches. So I'm proud of him, bro. Keontae George at the number 3 spot firmly. But going to number 2, man. This guy's the guy in Atlanta now, Jalen Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
He's the guy in the A, and for good reason. A first-time All-Star this year, averaging 23.3 points per game, 10.6 rebounds per game. This is the crazy part: 8.2 assists per game. He's Atlanta's Mr. Do It All. At the forward position, Johnson has taken a leap that we just don't see very often from guys. Fast forward to today, and his assist average has jumped up by more than 4 assists per game. I think last 2 seasons, I think it was at 5 last year. The season before that, 3. Now it's at 8, so it's jumped up by more than 4 assists in the last 2 seasons. That's pretty crazy. Also, Jalen Johnson has turned into a true playmaking wing with great defensive intangibles and firmly sits at second in our list. I think Jalen Johnson became the guy in Atlanta as soon as Trae Young got traded. He's been awesome, bro. I think he's one of the only players to be averaging 20, 10, and 5.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the only few players in the NBA to currently be doing that right now. Obviously, we saw the injury to Sabonis. He'd probably potentially be doing that too. I think he's out for the season, him and Zach LaVine. Do you remember what Sabonis is out with?
No, I don't. I think it's a
It
knee. I think
doesn't
it was his
matter. He's not.
meniscus. Meniscus.
Oh, it is. It is. It
Mm-hmm.
is. So Sabonis is out with meniscus tear, so he's probably also somebody you want to add to that category. But Jalen Johnson, just being, I don't know, he's homegrown. I don't know if Atlanta was expecting him to take the leap that he has. That's also another reason why we got to put him on this list. I feel like the Jazz drafted Keontae George to be the guy that he's turned into, but Jalen Johnson, the assists, right? I think the scoring and the rebounding is one thing, but for him to become a playmaking wing,
Mm-hmm.
that adds a whole nother layer of value to what he brings to the table. And obviously, first time All Star this season, deservedly so. And he's the reason that Trey got traded, bro. Obviously, Atlanta saw some sort of light at the end of the tunnel with him. He's getting 20, 10, and 8. So I think he's had a tremendous season. And Atlanta has been, I think he's second for me personally, and I know you probably agree. I think he's second because Atlanta's been so underwhelming. Like,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, the trades with Porzingis and Trae Young, like, I thought they would be there this entire year. That changes the outlook clearly. So, Atlanta fans, bear with me, but you guys have definitely been underwhelming this season, especially in the Eastern Conference that's so wide open. I think that's why Jalen Johnson isn't first on this list because if you look at the stats, he probably would be. He's really efficient. The 3-point shot hasn't caught up yet, and he's probably the weakest 3-point shooter on this entire list that we have. But outside of that, there's really no critiques, bro. And he's turned into, I don't like throwing this word yet around, but a baby Jokic, bro. Those assists start creeping into the double digits. You at the forward spot, it's kind of tough to not say that, bro. But yeah, he's Mr. Do It All. I think for me personally, like I don't even know if I think he could be number 1, and
Mm-hmm.
I think he could overtake the number 1 spot if the Hawks could clean it up. So there's that. There's that.
Yeah.
But I don't think that'll be the case.
Yeah. No, yeah, you said it, bro. Just what he's been able to do. Obviously, he is Atlanta's guy now, and that was because of what he's been able to do this whole season. The leap and every statistical category has gone up this season. So I think it, rightfully so, he's at 2, and just being able to see what, like you said, the playmaking, right? Because you think we knew that he could score, we knew he could rebound. Just the fact that he's able to facilitate and actually play make for everyone else on the team just kind of goes to show that, you said it, he's Mr. Do It All for the Hawks, and he's their guy for the future, and he's their franchise now. So the fact that he's been able to step into that role, kind of lead the charge for them, obviously have been very underwhelming, especially being in the East and how wide open it is. It's kind of it's something, at least they know that he's gonna be there and he's gonna be able to do
Yeah,
what
he'll be
he
good.
does. He's gonna be good. So shout out to Jalen Johnson. I think that's didn't I don't know if we had him in our preseason MIP race either.
I don't think we did either. I don't
So
know if we had any of
any
these
of these
guys.
guys, yeah. So I think it kind of goes to show, like you said, the criteria obviously isn't, we don't know it, but obviously if
Clear,
you
right?
have statistical jumps in categories, you're going to be in this the race for it. So shout out to Jalen Johnson at the number 2 spot, and like you said, definitely could be number 1 by the end of the season, but as of right now he's number 2. But the number 1 guy, man, this is my guy. I drafted him this year in our dynasty. I think it was a really solid pickup for me. It's the one and only Portland Trailblazer, Denny Advia. Advia steals the show here and most likely wins this award, barring any injury or major setback. Denny could be the 8th wonder of the world at this point, coming to Portland on a trade from the Wizards, which we know Washington regrets. Advia is averaging a cool 25.2 points per game, 7.2
My
rebounds per
goodness.
game, and 6.6 assists per game on 46% shooting for the Blazers. Advia only trails Luka Doncic for free throws attempts per game, as he is getting to the line 9.4 times a game this season. Advia's team has relatively outperformed expectations too, as the Blazers sit at a 27 and 29 record for the season, for ninth in the Western Conference. Denny Advia is 3-man Wee's choice for the most improved player this season. Like I said, bro, I drafted him. I didn't expect him to take this huge of a leap, but I think just what he's been able to do for the Trailblazers, kind of obviously not stats wise getting as much as Jalen Johnson, but he is kind of like their Swiss Army knife, being able to obviously score 25 points per game and able to facilitate and get rebounds. But I think the main thing is just his ability to get to the free throw line. I think it's something that a lot of NBA fans, whether you like it or not, it's easy buckets, and he's been able to do it all season. So nine attempt, almost 9.5 attempts a game. I think it kind of goes to show he's being aggressive. He's being able to shoot efficient from the field, and he's kind of been able to do a little bit of everything for the Trailblazers. Obviously they've been dealing with the injuries kind of all season, as pretty much every team has this year, but he's been the consistent offense, and I think that's why we have him at number 1. And for me, having him on
Oh
my
yeah.
roster, bro, he's able to fill up the stat sheet. He's able to get me some 70-point performance in fantasy, and I think it kind of goes to show just what he's been able to do this season. So shout out to Denny. We have him at number 1, and this is for our most improved player race right now.
No doubt. And yeah, Denny Advia is like I said, bro. I mean, you said it, but eighth wonder of the world at this point. I don't think Washington really knew that they had a 25, 7, and 7 guy sitting on their bench or not playing a ton of minutes. But I think Portland, too, just where they sit, I think he's also given Damian Lillard a timeline that he didn't originally see, to be honest. I think Danny Avdia has taken over the point guard duties. I don't think Damian Lillard, when he comes back, will be the true one. It'll still be Avdia. Lillard will play off that, obviously take the ball up every once in a while. But I think Avdia's earned the right to be the main guy in Portland. Obviously, Donovan Clingan, seeing what he was doing, and Jan Hansen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Going back and forth in the Rising Stars game was super dope for us to watch. Got to see that with you, too, which was cool. The Trailblazers are awesome, bro. Y'all have a dope roster ready to do y'all's off-season files whenever we get to that point. Hopefully, you guys, make the play-in. The Scoot Henderson stuff is interesting, but I think Denny again changes the timeline, right? You probably thought you were gonna have to use Scoot Henderson a bunch. Now you don't. It just changes some things. He's had that great of a season going forward. This probably won't change either. Why? Because CJ said it, the free throws, that's something that can be consistent. That's dependent on the refs. But your game, it speaks a lot about who you are. Danny Avdia getting to the line 10 times a night kind of shows the type of player that he is. He draws fouls. He also hits free throws. I think he's hitting 80%.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like 8 out of 10. He's been awesome, bro. Yeah, there's not much to say that hasn't already been said from a lot of other analysts, but I think you just drafting him, bro, it even makes him a little bit better. It makes it a little bit better for me. I'm not a Blazers fan or anything, but it's been a joy like watching him. First time All Star as well.
Mm-hmm.
Got up and down. I think he got a bucket. I think he got one bucket. I think he got like a dunk. But
Mm-hmm.
just he's definitely far and away the most improved player. If there was a category, he'd probably fit that. So
Mm-hmm.
there you go, Denny Avia. You
Danny
are
Avdia.
Three Man Weave's most improved player.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, Dynasty, tell
Dynasty.
the folks, bro, because we missed Monday, I think.
We missed Monday, but Dynasty for me, I think we had I think we might like have messed up on the schedule, I think, a little bit. But
Yeah, I messed it up. I wasn't thinking because um I just wasn't thinking. I wasn't thinking because the All Star game,
mhm,
it like is halfway through the week, like the actual week.
mhm,
So like the way that the weeks work in fantasy is it's Monday to Sunday. So like if there's only half amount of games, we can only score so many points because games start on Thursday.
right.
And a complete week is still Thursday to Sunday, if that makes sense. I was trying to figure out a way to say that, but
Nah, yeah, you said it perfectly, bro. But
okay, yeah.
kind of, roster situation for me right now. We talked about it earlier. Sabonis is out. He's season-ending surgery, I think, for his meniscus. And then Franz Wagner, bro, he's another one of my pickups this season. He's out for 3 weeks, so that's gonna, obviously, not obviously, because y'all don't know this, but I ended up getting a dub last week. Was able to get the second seed, so I have a first week bye. So obvious, or y'all don't know this. I don't know why I keep saying obviously, but our playoff format is two weeks per round. So hopefully, by the time first round matchup or second round matchup for me, Franz will be able to come back. But as of right now, he's out. So down 2 guys. But I think my roster. I think I told you as well, Z. I had to kind of play the system a little bit, move people to my taxi, move people
My
to my IR.
goodness.
I had to pick up because I needed to get
Yeah.
this win, bro. I think to kind of cap off the end of the year for me, I ended up going against your brother, and then had to get that dub. He was competing for that second seed as well, and then I ended up getting a dub against. Sorry, I'm checking. Mike. So then that was a huge win for me. He's a little unlucky. He had 3 players playing on believe Sunday. So kind of like your final match of the night. I think they all ended up, or 2 of them ended up being out for him. So kind of saved me. So I think it was
Oh no.
Ryan Rollins and Yusuf Nurkic and Miles Turner were all out for him. So they ended up getting 0.
Oh
And that, I'm
no.
not going to lie, that's kind of why I won. But just being, I had to, like I said, kind of play the system a little bit, move some people. I had to drop a couple people, but just needed to put some points up. So ended up moving. I think I moved Kobe White to my
My
taxi
goodness.
as of right now, just to kind of have another roster spot to pick up and put some points. And I ended up picking up Gigi Jackson and Neat Clifford. So they were able to put up 32 for Neat Clifford, and Gigi Jackson got me 35. So quality pickups for me,
Ooh,
and they could also be players that I, once my roster gets fully
you
healthy, i
utilized,
could i could
right?
actually, obviously they're, Gigi Jackson's gonna be getting a lot of play, and Neat Clifford now, kind of seems like the Kings are kind of a dumpster fire right now. So I'm pretty sure he'll get a lot of run for me too. So in a Not the greatest spot, obviously, not the healthiest, but I have a roster
Aaron
to where I
Thomas.
think they could put up points, and having that first or 2 week bye for me, I think it's going to help me in the long run, just kind of get my roster back healthy. But I think I'm in a good spot, bro. And I know if you end up getting your dub, we'll meet in the playoffs. So I'm excited for that, bro.
Oh
But
man, I'm
how?
going for it. I'm going for broke now. Like now, I'm going for broke because my team has put me in a position to win. I wasn't expecting it, but I'm on a 3 week win streak, baby. Like
Mm-hmm.
I've been winning for a month straight now.
Yeah.
Like now, I've been getting to mine. So I'm like, F it. They put me up against my brother. It is what it is. But like I said, we messed up the week, so I made like last week, I think was supposed to start, but it was going into this week games. So I was like, all right, we'll just chalk it up and start this week, the new week, whenever the games start. But yeah, now I'm 8-9. I'm the 6th seed. I'm playing my brother who's the 2 seed or the 3 seed.
3 seed.
The 3 seed.
Mm-hmm.
He's the 3 seed. De'Aaron Fox, Edgecombe, Flag, bro, Ace Bailey, bro, Chet, bro. Uh, and at times, Jared Allen or DiVincenzo, Dylan Brooks, like those cats will give you 40.
Mm-hmm.
It's serious. Like I've been consistently outperforming my projections. I think I am. Let's see what I am in points against because I think that was a really big stat for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I started losing a lot. Let's see. I'm actually not too bad right now. I think there's some other guys who have more points against. So I've been getting a little lucky, I think, on that in the last month or so. I was really unlucky to start the season off. I think I was first in points against, but now that's dropped down to eighth. So yeah, I'm in the mix now. Now my team is starting to the luck is starting to turn, and hey, it's about getting hotter at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
Remember I say that, bro? It's like about getting hot at the right time. Like it's all that matters. Give me like CJ said it, 2 weeks. It's 2 week playoffs. You got an opportunity. The reason we do it like that is you just have an opportunity. If your team gets screwed 1 week, we don't want it to be over because of injuries. You couldn't drop somebody, blah blah blah. You have a whole 2 weeks to move and configure your roster to figure out how you're going to get the maximum amount of points, which I think is the best way to do Dynasty. But yeah, bro, just I'm going for broke. Edgecombe, MVP of the Rising Stars. I
Mm-hmm.
got Cooper Flag, who seems to be, dare I say it, generational. Reed Shepard, who's coming into his own. Ace Bailey as well. Really, really young team. Not expecting to go to the championship, but like, if I can get lucky, if the ball might bounce my way. So I'm excited, bro. I'm not gonna like over talk about it because I don't want to ruin my chances. But I've been playing well, bro. So knock on wood. This has been a dope episode. This is the All Star episode, baby.
Yeah, no, it's kind of crazy because I feel like the progression for you this season has been, you started off, start off the year not the greatest. I think, you say you think you're gonna tank, and then
Take
your
out,
your
yeah, I
team
gotta
ends
take
up,
out.
over exceeding expectations and projections for each week. So kind of goes to show, bro. Just it's kind of crazy to think, but the trade that got you to where you're at now, you're gonna be ended up going against the person you traded with and your brothers. So it's gonna be dope. I'm gonna be looking at that matchup, obviously, because I'm gonna be going against whoever wins that. So I'm gonna be locked in, bro. And I think it'll just make the pod and everything, the dynasty league, even more a little more interesting if we match up against each other. So I'm excited, bro. I'm rooting for you and just seeing
First
how
years.
your season, just what it's become, what you were expecting, and you just end up catching dubs at the right moment, like you said, getting hot. Your team is good, young, and I think it's kind of embodies what dynasty is, right? Just having a young team, and
Yes,
they end up doing well for you. So shout out to you, bro. I think it's interesting to see kind of like how our seasons have been going, kind of not polar opposites, I would say, but just getting dubs at the right moments, getting hot, and then seeing that we could potentially be going against each other, bro. I'm excited. I'm rooting for you. So get this dub so we can get our playoff matchup, and I'll be waiting for you, bro, in that second round. So excited to see
There you
what
go.
what this playoffs turns out to be. But no, yeah, it's a great way to kind of start off our dynasty league and just seeing how far, or beginning of the season where we're at. We did the pod of us drafting, and now we're getting playoff time, so it's dope to see. We've documented everything, and we had conversations at end of each episode, so it's dope to see, bro. I'm excited, and I can't wait for it. So I'll be waiting for you, Z. Hopefully you pull out
There it
this win.
is. Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you put me in a playoff scenario, I'm gonna try to show up. I'm not gonna rest players. In fact, I think if I beat my brother, I also get a good pick anyway.
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, so I'm like, man, if I can beat him, I know that pick is gonna be a lot better than expected. A
Mm-hmm.
lot better. And so that changes my season even more. So yeah, there's a lot on the line for me, honestly.
Yeah.
It's not on the line
Oh
for
yeah.
me. It's exciting.
Yeah.
We got a jersey, some bread on the line. Yeah, you know, gift card, whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It'll be fun, bro. It's been a good season. So I'm excited, and hopefully you guys have enjoyed it following along. We appreciate you. Yeah, if you made it this far too, we appreciate you.
Oh yeah. Oh
Player
yeah.
of the year, like,
A real
meet me in
one.
hoop it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Was there anything else you wanted to say before we head out of here, Z?
Nah, I think what, like, next episode, I don't know if I'll do DP. I don't know, because we did MVP, so we won't do that one. But every other one, I might even have you fill out some All NBA teams, but we'll try to like speed through it. But yeah, there's for 15 players, it's a lot, but it can get done.
Oh
You
yeah.
know.
Oh yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah. Well, nothing for me on this side, man. If y'all made it this far, we greatly appreciate you. Thank you for
Hmm.
all the love on our last podcast. Hopefully y'all, keep staying tuned, and chopping it up or listening to us chop up about hoops. And if y'all liked and enjoyed this episode, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see y'all next time, man. Peace. Three man,
Peace.
three man, three
Three man.
man.
Three man. Let's go.